So we have Mike Gill. Are you there, Mike Gill?
Yeah, I got you.
What are you doing, man?
I don't use this laptop very often, and I had to it was a whole story, but I figured it out. Here I am. I do take too much PTO. My bosses hate because I have so much time off. So you were lying on that one.
I just figured you didn't take PTO because I've never tuned in and you haven't been working. So,
you probably tune in. I do work hard. Yes. Thank you very much. You probably tune in during the big times of the year, Eagles season, Phillies, playoffs, NBA, but I do take a lot of time off. But that being said, I'm ready for the Christmas season so I can take more time off.
as a lot of us in radio like to do during the winter book. All right. So you texted me, I think it was on Tuesday, you were watching the show.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jalen Hurts. And it really Jalen's not, he's not trash. He hasn't been terrible so far this year. But if you came down from Mars and you knew the NFL, but you didn't know who Jalen Hurts was or what he had done or that he was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago or that he's a $255 million quarterback, you would think he's a guy that's making maybe $15 million a year because that's what moderate quarterbacks make. And he's kind of just playing okay so far this year. And that's really he's struggling with – Greg Cosell said yesterday, I don't know if you heard the comments, Mike. He said that he's struggling – or Jalen Hurts can't execute basic concepts. Basic concepts. Yeah. What do you see when you watch Jalen play?
So we talk a lot about this week. There was a comment that Dan Orlovsky made. I don't know if you saw this about the RPO and how it's changed with the illegal man downfield. And what I'm watching right now is this illegal man downfield in 2022. It was not a point of emphasis to call it. Last year, it became a point of emphasis of calling that. So basically, his explanation is you have Jason Kelce and Landon Dickerson. They're 5 yards down the field engaging with a linebacker. That linebacker thinks it's a run play, and bang, double slant behind them, two guys wide open because the linebacker's engaged. Well, now they're calling that illegal man down the field. So those linebackers, the illusion of the run is not there as much anymore. It's two reasons why the RPO is not working as much as it used to. And the pass option in that RPO has kind of been taken away altogether because now he's seeing linebackers that he wasn't seeing before, and he just refuses to throw over the field. And then the second part of that, which I texted you, is everything he does looks like it's in slow motion. It just looks like he's in quicksand when he's running. It looks like he's processing in slow motion. He's kind of looking, patting, and then he's out. And I think as we've all seen, as soon as he leaves that pocket, this play's over. He's got nothing. And this is documented in some numbers. I work for one of the ESPN affiliates, so I get the ESPN stat sheets for every game. He's completing 18% of his passes out of the pocket. I mean, wow. That's a dreadful number. So I think it's a definitive, you look at the Lions play. Would you say A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are any worse than Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No, they're better. They're better.
Right. They've got Gibbs and Montgomery. You've got Barkley. Okay, even if you like their talent, it's not exponentially. Their offensive line's very good. Yours is kind of good. It's not as good as you would like. The one problem is their quarterback is making every play. Your guy's not. And I think that's where we are. Why is this offense? They've had some injuries, yes. But ultimately, I think he's processing slow. He's moving slow. And there you have an offense that's not fun to watch. That's why you get demoted off of Monday Night Football. That's why you get or Sunday Night Football. That's why you get demoted to the 1:00 game on a Sunday because you're not fun to watch.
Yeah, the dreaded first 15 plays that they script. Are they not scripting them? Remember with Andy, Mike, we used to complain that he couldn't do anything outside of the first 15. He was great at scripting the plays, but then once you actually had to get into a flow of a game and you're making in-game adjustments, he struggled. This is the old Andy Reid. I don't think he does this anymore, obviously.
Right.
But is there not a script where you can get the team going? Maybe run a little bit of pace, because like sometimes you will have things like this happen and it's just dumb luck. At this point, it's no, you're bad coming out in the first quarter because either the coach isn't doing a good job calling plays, the game plan isn't there, or the quarterback struggles early, which feels like there's a combination of everything. Like if you go back and you look at the first drives of a couple games, it's like handoff to Saquon, incomplete on third down. Or 50-50 ball for AJ, incomplete, handoff to Saquon, incomplete on third down. It's too predictable. Why not be a little bit creative early? Or why not just say, you know what? We're going to run the ball down their freaking throat, and we're going to have that mentality going into a game. It's like they're not sure how they want to get off this schneid.
Well, and I think you talked about it earlier this week on one of your shows, was like you can't just run the ball every week and think you're going to be a Super Bowl team. You might be a really good team, but as Baltimore has figured out, you can't just be a one-trick. You've got to be able to do something else. And it can't be just, hey, let's go in the schoolyard, A.J. Brown, go 40 yards down the field. I'm going to chuck one up, and you're going to go win it every time that we need it. That's just not a sustainable way to win football games. They have moments where I say nobody can tackle in this league. Nobody can tackle. Just throw the ball to A.J. Brown, 5 yards, 6 yard, curl, slant, and let him make people miss. I mean, the worst thing that happens, he gets tackled on the spot for 5 yards. Like, that should be a bang, bang, bang play just to get some fluidity in your offense. I talk about a lot on my show about they got Barkley, they got Brown, they got Smith, John. But the star of this team needs to be the offensive line. And if they utilize their offensive line the way they should, the stars that you have will become bigger stars because everything will be open for them as you beat teams down up front and then use these opportunities. I don't know. It just looks like a disjointed mess. And this is like a chicken or the egg. Is Kellen Moore not a good play caller, or does he have plays that he can't use because his quarterback can't execute them properly? That's a problem.
Yeah, I forget who it was that wrote it. It might have been regardless, it was this, and you've seen a lot of talk about this. This isn't Kellen Moore's offense. This is Jalen Hurts' offense. This is the same offense they've been running. It just has different wrinkles and a different play caller. It's the same college offense they've been running. And the RPO, guess what happens after you do something and you do it well? Defensive coordinators and their staff spend the offseason trying to solve you.
That's a big thing. In 2022, this guy, the Eagles were in a terrible situation. I've talked a lot about this, and I don't think it's been talked about that much. Maybe I don't listen enough. But he had a mediocre at best season in 2021. They got to the playoffs. He was okay. He comes back. He's in the MVP conversation the whole year. He almost wins the Super Bowl. Well, the Eagles then approach him about a contract. They didn't take into account his first year of play. They only took into account the second year because, he's not going to play on that deal. So They give him this deal where he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. And you're like, well, what about the first year he played? You're just saying he's only the guy in the second year. That's it. The first guy never existed. So they give him this money. And then all these other teams are saying, well, wait a second. What was he doing in that year that made him come out of nowhere and become an MVP candidate? Let's take that away from him and see what else he has. Well, right now, what else does he have? I know I said – or somebody said to me in the summer of the year 2022, hey, if Jalen Hurts has a good year, you might have to pay him $25 million. And I'm thinking, $25 million for Jalen Hurts? Like, that was incomprehensible coming off the year. Yeah, when they were 9-8. And then he takes to the Super Bowl, blah, blah, and then he makes, what was he making, $45 million? But the thought of $25 million for him almost knocked me over. But that's the going rate for quarterbacks. And the problem is right now, your quarterback is not earning his check.
Yeah, I mean, there was real progression in 2022. He was a confident quarterback.
Absolutely.
He was confident in the pocket. He moved around in the pocket. He proved he can beat you with his arm. He didn't have to be reliant on his legs. And then he could use his legs as a real weapon because he wasn't relying on it. Now I feel like we've gone back in time. We've gone back in the future where fans run the ball. There you go. This team's got to run the ball to win. We had to get Jalen.
There was a lot of things
what are we talking about.
Johnny, there was a lot of things in 2022, though, that defenses were still trying to figure out. 2 years later, that offense has become it's like John Gannon runs the Vic Fangio defense. And then people saw this Vic Fangio. It was like the Tampa 2. Everybody was doing it, and then we figured it out. And there was no more Tampa 2s except for the guys who are really, really good at it. teams figure you out. It takes a little while, but okay, everyone runs this spread with these gimmicky little RPOs. Okay, we've watched it a bunch of times. We've figured it out. You got to do something else. So what do defenses do? They went and put 225-pound linebackers on the field. So now these offenses are saying, fine, we'll run the ball at you. Have that guy try to tackle my guy and have fun with that. So that's where the chess match begins. Can the Eagles, add? They got to add another wrinkle or two to the pass game, though. The run game, we know they can run, and they're adding. You got the fullback. They're doing a little bit of extra stuff in the run game. They're under center, running the ball. But this should be, with Saquon Barkley, they should be able to play action teams to death with Barkley and Brown and Smith and Goddard. I mean, it should be a nightmare for defenses. Instead, yikes.
Yeah. But they are 4-2. Sometimes I have to remind myself, Mike Gill.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. We played this game the other day. They're 4-2. Do they feel 4-2? In other words, if I throw a team out at you, are there definitive teams that you say, yes, they're better than that team? And I think we came up with maybe 4 teams that are definitively better than them. Maybe 5.
Okay. Otherwise, it's an argument. It's a good game. Yeah, I mean
that's the whole league is the point.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah, like you can obviously say the Lions, the 49ers are struggling. I don't know, like maybe they make a run to get into the playoffs, but those injuries are real. And if McCaffrey's not back, Ayuk's gone for the season now. Purdy threw 3 interceptions. Maybe he's taking a step back. No, you're right. Outside of the Chiefs and the Lions, I mean, the Ravens
Baltimore.
maybe, but they started the season off poorly. Lamar's playoff track record is his playoff track record. Right? So are you expecting him to change that in the playoffs? I mean, until he does it, I'm not. Right? So
right. Yep.
It's interesting. All right. The Mike Gill Show. You can follow him on social media at Mike Gill Show. You can stream him. It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN down at the shore. So if you're taking a trip down the shore for one of the weekends, I know Ocean City closed down Wonderland a couple weekends ago. I have, you know what, Mike Gill, I would always load those tickets up because I was told they never expire. So I have like $130 in credits at home for an amusement park in Ocean City that just closed.
Yeah, and they quickly painted over everything. It is gone, man. There's like they painted over the doors and the walls. It's completely like desolate now. I mean, the rides are still inside, but yeah, that was a big news deal down here, man. The Wonderland is closing, but the weather's been outstanding. I was in Stone Harbor. Where do you vacation down here? What are you, an Avalon guy?
Ocean City.
Ocean City. Okay, so I was in Stone Harbor last weekend. We hit up the Avalon Seafood. There's a ton of stuff to do down here, and the weather's been unbelievable. It's like, why would you leave your shore house?
Yeah, best time of year, September, October down the shore when the weather's like this, for sure.
Totally, it's awesome. I'm actually making my way up to Philly this weekend. Is the weather going to be all right up there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think like cold in the morning. My daughter has cheerleading. We have a softball game like at the same time. So yeah, I think the weather's supposed to be good. There you go.
Nice.
Well, Mike Gill, always appreciate it, brother. Good to have you on the show. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, man. Anytime. I'll talk to you.
All right, there he is, Mike Gill.
We all silly like the mayor.